Ah, the Infinity Stones, those magical stones sought by none other than Thanos in the mystical world of the Avengers and Marvel Universe. It made me think about how these stones are kind of unique. And I ran into this game console we're going to look at today and unbox and take initial impressions of because it reminded me of those Infinity Stones. The G30, another handheld, yes, another handheld that is coming out, a clone of a clone of a clone. This one looks a lot like the M18 or the R43 Pro. It's sort of along the same class as the G28. Now, that's become one of my most popular videos, the G28, so go check it out if you haven't. But this sibling to it has the same screen we saw in the G23, excuse me, G28, which is essentially the PSP screen. So how does a vertical with a wide PSP screen, 4.3 inches, do? Well, we kind of liked the M18, the R43 Pro, but let's see how this does. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and you also don't miss out on all these Infinity Stones. Some things in life can be intimidating. They can be a little scary, but they don't have to. In fact, going to the dentist doesn't have to be that way. Just look at how we handle things at Deadfred Dental.
This is my first time.
At Deadfred Dental, we cater to noobs.
That's right, noob. Come on down to Deadfred Dental and get your cleaning. No, wait, I don't own a dental office. I'm not a dentist, and that is sort of a creepy name, Deadfred Dental. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome to the channel for the first time, new deadheads. Today, we're going to take a look at the G30 featuring Infinity Stones. You know, that creative fake ad, using AI was a little bit interesting, and I hope you guys don't hate the AI slop too much. I'm experimenting with it and I'm trying things, and I'll never turn this channel into anything that's like completely AI, but I think it can be fun to use it in spots like that along with other areas. Anyways, I wanted to say, there's so many clones out there. It's like, why is everybody copying everybody else?
Stop copying me.
Okay, so maybe it is AI slop, but the point being is like we have yet more clones coming out, and this guy right here from the people that brought us the G28 that wanted to be your new PSP has taken that same screen and put it into this form factor, which we've seen previously with the R43 Pro and the M18 from SJ Gam, so our friends over there. So let's get this thing and look at it. The box here, this is reminiscent of the G28 box, so it looks very similar. It's quick to tell that it's got that 3D thing like we saw. The box is somewhat nice. It's got a picture of it, G30 on the front, and it does prominently display that 4.3 inch screen label there. Moving around the side, and there's some nice looking stuff here. On this side, we do have the two colorways, and we have the two sizes, a 64-bit or a 128 gig. And moving to the back is where you get to the real meat of the stuff. And here are the specs on the back. And unlike the G28, which was a Rockchip 3128, this one is saying that it stepped up to the 3326. Now, the M18 was a 3566, so that's much better for PSP. The 3326 can kind of do PSP, so we'll have to wait and see. But let's get this thing out of the package, and let's see what's inside. And opening up, we do have our handheld, so we'll move that out of the way, and our little plastic tray. And oh, we have a USB cord. Imagine that. And looking at the USB cord, it is our standard USB-C and A cord. Nothing fancy here. We got a little plastic tray. And then below, we do have a screen protector, but oh my, it's one of the flimsy ones, so it's not a really great screen protector. But hey, they gave us one. And then we have our manual here. And inspecting our manual, the G30 manual, there's not a lot to it. In fact, it's kind of interesting because this is only in English. There is no Mandarin on this. So that's kind of interesting that it only comes in English. But there is some information on the front and back. So they do give it to you, and they save space by using front and back. So good for them for the eco reasons. But let's get this thing back in here in its box, and let's take out the handheld and take a look at it. Hey Deadhead, sorry to interrupt the video. I'm sure you were enjoying it, but I want to take a moment to share with you a product from our sponsor from AliExpress. We want to thank our friends at AliExpress for sending us. We all know that recently the Trimui brick has become a very popular handheld because of a lot of things, but one of them things is the fact that it has these replaceable caps on the back, as you can see here. And AliExpress is selling these additional caps you can buy and purchase, such as these see-through caps that we have picked up here to put on our brick. They come in a nice packaging, as you can see, and you get a set of 3 with different sizes and types. So if you think there's something you want to do to customize your brick and have a little fun with changing out the keycaps, then make sure you check out the link in the description so you can check these out for yourself in case you want to pick one of these up. Anyways, guys, let's hop back into the video. Okay, so now we've got it out of the box, and this guy is big, as you can imagine. So my first thoughts are, yeah, this feels a lot like the M18, except the M18 had the sticks at a diagonal, and we have these inline at the bottom, which I think is ultimately better overall. So this thing is also kind of light and kind of shaky and rattly. In fact, this thing is kind of noisy. So as I started to use this, it became apparent that this thing is loud. What is that they say about impersonations?
You know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah.
Oh, right. That's right. And so, yes, this thing is loud. But let's test it as always. Let's try the buttons. And so as you can hear, they're not very loud, but they're not quite all that quiet. But they have a pretty good travel distance, and they are connected. They're not separated, so that's another bit of a bummer. But I do find them to be adequate for what we're trying to do here. Moving over to the D-pad, and we see the very first big problem. Now, this is the biggest disappointment of this handheld right here is the handheld. The D-pad is just stiff. It's just stiff, and the pivot on it is a little bit weak, and I just found it to be not quite as comfortable. Again, not going back to comparisons, but the M18 R43 had a better D-pad. So kind of disappointed to see that the D-pad on this one is a little bit stiff. It doesn't have a lot of good give to it, and so that's a little bit disappointing. Moving down to the sticks, and the sticks are nice. I like the placement of the sticks. I like where they're at. The positioning of them is good. They are switch style sticks, so nothing real shocking or different there. They're clicky. They do sound not as loud, and they seem pretty good, so no problem there. But then let's get to those infinity stones. The infinity stones. And boy, I guess Thanos is just loud. Listen to that. That is loud. These buttons, they're nice. They're nice and they feel well made. They don't feel cheap, but they're loud. So you should know that this is a loud handheld overall. And increasing that, if we go to the back and start using these shoulders, and there's two different kinds of loudness. Now, while all of these buttons, minus the D-pad, work really good, they're all just very loud. And I want to make that point because this is not a quiet handheld. Again, it rattles a bit and everything is just loud. So if that bothers you, you're not going to like this. And that's just a plain fact to it. The rest of it's pretty nice. We do have these nice ergonomics. We got the butt humps back here, which seem pretty good and comfortable. The positioning is good, so holding them is really nice like that. No problem with that. And then we do have this PSP screen, which is what we would expect from the screen. It looks the same as it did on the G28 or what we saw on the M18 before it. So no issues there, but let's get this thing booted up and take a look at it and check out the software. Are we going to get ArcOS like the box says, or are we going to get EmuElec? Well, let's find out. Hey Deadhead, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to talk to you today about this, the Kinhank K56. This is an amazing handheld, a 5.5-inch, very comfortable to hold handheld. But even better, our friends at Kinhank have put this with a fully curated, awesome ROM collection that has everything set up for beginners. So if you want to purchase this for somebody that just wants to grab and play, this is the perfect handheld for that. When I got this for review, I was really impressed with the curation aspect of it. Now the price of this is a little bit more, but with my coupons and our friends over at AliExpress, you can get this at a good price. Again, this is the Kinhank K56, and it is a handheld that I like a lot, especially for its awesome curated ROM collection. It can play reliably up through N64, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, Nintendo DS. It can also dabble just a little bit in PS2 and GameCube. Anyways, check my description at the bottom for your codes to save. And we want to thank our friends at AliExpress as always for sponsoring this video. We'll see you next time. Back to the show. So booting this thing up is pretty interesting. It's on the side, the power button, and we get this loading score with the Infinity Stones. Is Thanos about to come get us? I don't know. With a rather long loading time, are we going to see ArcOS? I'm not confident. But are we going to even see any kind of boot screen? Doesn't look like it. We're going to go straight into EmuElec, which is fine. This is EmuElec. It's the one card version, so there's probably eMMC in here, 8 gigs. And this means that it's going to be a little bit difficult to get good custom firmware on here. That being said, the Infinity Stones are also a little bit strange. I could not find a way to either turn them off or change them. They just rotate through the colors like that. So that's a little bit annoying. Again, they're nice. I like the shape of them. They're in the number 5 like that, like you're on a piece of dice. It's cool, but yeah, they're kind of annoying. But going through and looking at the software, this is your standard software for EmuElec. As I show here, it's EmuElec version 4.7. So there's nothing real unusual here. I did try to get Wi-Fi working on this. There's no built-in Wi-Fi. I could not get Wi-Fi to work on this with all of my dongles, so not sure if it has a weird dongle thing on that. There are people already in the Discord trying to get other software working on this. If we can get ArcOS working on this, that'll be great. So maybe we'll get some custom firmware. But as I show some gameplay footage, let me just talk about the experience playing on this. It's very comfortable. It's a comfortable handheld to hold, which makes it a shame that it's so loud. This thing is so loud to press buttons and to do anything with. It's just loud and it feels kind of creaky. So it's a little bit weird. This texture on the front is also kind of interesting. I kind of like it because it's smooth on the back and it's coarse on the front. So business in the front, party in the back, party in the back. So yeah, it's kind of neat. It's got a good design language to it. This only comes in the 2 colorways. I wish it had a little bit different colorways, but this is a little different. If you wanted a widescreen vertical PSP, I mean, who wants that? I don't know, but if you want that or you really like the M18, you might want to dabble with this. If this is going to be the very first handheld you've ever used, you're probably going to be amazed at this because it's a nice big screen. It is. The only screen we've seen vertically that's bigger than this is the E5 Jelly, the Game MT one, but that was a 5-inch screen, and that was a much better handheld than this, just being honest. So, but again, the price that they're asking for this is in the territory we want it to be. It's in the appropriate price range for a device that has the features it has. There's no Wi-Fi. It's got loud, creaky buttons. The D-pad is not great, but other than that, it is something that blows away anything you would have seen in 2019. I mean, if we think about it, how far we've come along with these things. But overall, I found the gaming experience to be okay. PSP looks the best on it. It doesn't play PSP the best because it's a 3326. I didn't open it up, but it seemed to play like a 3326. And I think with this Emulec, it looks familiar enough. We'll find out as people delve into this. So let's wrap this up. We have an ergonomic vertical PSP clone of what the M18 showed us a year ago with a weaker processor and a Infinity Stone design, which is loud and nice and not controllable. The buttons are clicky and super loud. The D-pad is loud. Overall, this didn't catch my attention enough to warrant this as a recommendation. So for Deadfred, this is a pass. But that being said, I did like the G28, even though it was the RK3128, and it's gotten better. There's been an XF version that's come out, so maybe we'll see someone or one of those factories do the same thing here and bring a better version of this out, because the XF, whatever it's called, is actually much better than the G28, even though they're practically the same and just different shells. So anyways, guys, that's our unboxing and review of the Infinity Stone clone. Infinity Stone clone. And it's, meh. It would have been great 5 years ago. There's just too many other better ones. It does say Consolo Retro, so I don't know if this is being aimed at our South American friends, but hey, you know what? That's cool. Anyways, yeah, I have to pass on it. Didn't catch my tip. There's just too many handhelds now. Anyways, guys, remember to love your hugged ones and hug those loved ones because tomorrow is never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Deadfred out.